Welcome to the Rec Room with Mandy and Mio, a podcast about books and the people who write them.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our show. This is, of course, a podcast called The Rec Room with Mandy and Mio, where we ask the question, when does a story become required reading? In each episode, we take popular authors of the day and review select pieces of their work just to see how close these writers get to the sweet spot between mainstream breakout success and traditional literary sensibility. My name's Mio.
I'm Mandy.
And we are continuing our summer semester, which it's a very loose approach to what we have been doing over the past few months. Previously, we were reviewing bibliography specifically. So, even though I said there in the intro that we do authors and writers, we're saying now that word very loosely, with the loosest, possible context, because...
Loose! Are you loose?
Yeah, because today's episode is definitely about somebody who has, there is an aspect of this that's writing, right? Mm-hmm. But it's not... Yeah. It's not what you it's not what you think of as the author, unless you I mean, which is also, I guess, somewhat that was something that was partially true also with our last few subjects, especially the History Boys. We were thinking more of the film and also Lady Bird especially, right?
Yeah.
But today that's all gonna change, because for the first time on our podcast we're gonna do a song.
That's right.
What song, you might ask? Well, you and me, we got the whole to see, down, down.
You don't even know the lyrics.
Down, down. This is the sweet life.
This is the sweet life
with Mandy and Mio. That's right. We're talking about. We're talking about Sweet.
That transition
by Laura Marling. Not the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. A show
that would be crazy if actually what if you've never seen that show? Are you serious? You've never seen The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody?
I'm not kidding.
Wait, this needs to change.
You struggled with the lyrics. You think I would have seen that?
I just thought you forgot.
No.
Oh my god, no. You need to put this on our letterbox. Can you do letterbox for shows?
You can quiz me on any other theme song of a show that I've seen. And I promise
that's
you
true.
I'll know the lyrics, but that's just proof that I don't know it. I've never
Oh my
seen
god,
it,
I totally forgot that you haven't seen a lot of DCOM originals.
I missed out on DCOM. What was
you really did.
What was I watching?
You really did, actually. Well, a specific era of DCOM. Star Wars. Yeah, and the History Boys. I was gonna say that, everyone... Mio, whoever's out there in the other listening, Mio really, when he says he has missed out on an era, he really did. He became 50 years old when he was 10.
Right. Yeah, and we have to clarify. I'm not a boomer or anything.
Yeah.
No matter what my voice betrays.
Yeah, sure.
I was born in the 90s, so I'm supposed to be part of the DCOM generation, but
you were not. You really willingly
I'll be honest,
ignored it.
The one piece of DCOM lore or media or that's stuck in my head is the
lore. I'd say
song
lore is
from good. Xenon Girl from the 21st Century.
How does that go again? Zoom, make my heart go boom boom.
My supernova girl, which is the song predicting the popularity of Zoom in the pandemic. It was an ode to Zoom. Wow. The calling. Zoom, zoom, zoom. That's how you saw your girl during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And that's why it made his heart go boom.
Boom, boom. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's the one piece of DCOM.
No, so we need to rectify this. So maybe halfway through the year, if you get through sports, we should start with Well, there are a lot of DCOMs actually that are about sports.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I mean not just High School Musical, but there are a lot there are a lot of surfing ones for some reason. Yeah. There's a dog competition one.
I mean, surely
we can go through it.
One or two that I just am not remembering because again, it was not a big part of my life. But
a mistake.
Surely, there wasn't the guy who was also in High School Musical. Didn't he have a dance movie?
That's Jump Rope. Actually, I wonder if that would qualify because it was it was competitive jump rope. Wow, it really was
okay, I see.
for. It's similar to, I guess, how you do competitive yo-yo.
Yeah.
Because there are like certain moves that you have to do, and then there's like routines.
Oh, okay.
And that's why Corbin Blue said that you have to step to the rhythm and dance to the music.
I've always considered, even if I haven't seen that movie either, I've always considered that film to be like the Tokyo Drift of the High School Musical film franchise.
Yes, sure.
It's like set in a distant future.
That soundtrack was really good,
and then
though.
It's only at the end where Zac Efron makes a cameo saying, "Hey, you should come back to my crew."
Yeah,
you know?
and that's actually what happened.
And then it goes straight into
it was Corbin's
High School
it
Musical
was like
7.
summer vacation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, so sweet. We're doing
7. Okay, this song is about. I mean, like the song we're doing now is literally the opposite of decom.
Yeah, it's very somber. You know, that's why I felt bad during this bit at first, because like
it was good though. I liked it.
Irreverent to the content of our subject for today, which is as we mentioned several times now, "Sweet" by Laura Marling, which is a choice that you made, Mandy. Why don't you tell us a little bit?
It is my choice. It is Amandi's choice.
Why you picked for our summer semester?
So I really so in case you've never heard of what "Sweet" is actually what Laura Marling calls a series of 4 songs from her 2013 album "Once I Was an Eagle," of which the title track of the album is part of this suite. So it's a suite because it's like, I'll explain this more later, but it's 4 songs that she performs live, and instead of just, on a set list when she has to write down what song she's gonna do, instead of writing all the 4 titles, she just collectively refers to it as suite.
And this is like in the genre of like sort of folk music.
It's yeah, if you guys have never really listened to Laura Marling, she does mostly folk, and there was a folk acoustic music. I don't want to say country because she doesn't go that far into it. Yeah. It is very UK folk though. So if you guys ever listen to her pals, Mumford and Sons or Johnny Flynn, they all kind of run in the same genre and the same circles.
Yeah. I if I could insert
go ahead.
I don't claim to be an expert on Laura Marling or anything, but the one time that I at least her music has endured in my memory is her collaborations with Johnny Flynn, and I remember loving that song that they did, "The River," so much that one time when I was still living in the UK, and then I heard somebody playing it on the street, I was like, fucking made it. Finally people who know my music.
You literally were like, this is my town. It's Norwich.
Of course, everyone knows
you're
music.
In the middle. You're literally everyone listens to Johnny Flynn here.
I had the same excitement and vigor as Zendaya's Michi guy. Yes.
That's a good one. You literally yes, the river is where Johnny Flynn is.
And Laura Marling.
And Zendaya is Meaty.
Yeah. But that's my one.
We should cover that video. I wonder how far we can go if we did a whole episode on that Vine.
Yeah,
anyway, so
singer.
Laura is British. In case you guys didn't get that by now, she is English, and she grew up in Berkshire, if I'm not mistaken. And her dad had a recording studio and was the one who introduced her to folk music growing up. And I'm pretty sure she had mentioned in some interviews before that her dad was her first guitar teacher.
Ooh, can I say his name? Can I say his name? Because it sounds like a cool name.
Go ahead, because he literally is.
Yeah.
Go and then say what I didn't mention that who he was, but go ahead.
I want to say his name like a page, Sir Charles William Somerset Marling, 5th Baronet.
That's right.
Yeah,
he's a baron.
A baronet.
He's a baron.
He's a little baron.
Is that different?
You follow
he's a little.
He's a
little bit of a baron.
He's just a. Sorry to Italy, but.
Wow, or even to Spanish people, because we would have said the same thing, how we speak platito and plato is different. Anyway,
the difference between baron and baronet.
I'm literally wait. I'm gonna read their. Okay, so they have a whole Wikipedia page for just their family.
Oh no!
The Marling baronets. I'm not even kidding. Yeah. Oh my god, she's Burgess as well. Okay, the Marling baronetcy which is like the baronet, like bureaucracy, but baronetcy, of Stanley Park and Sudbury Park in the county of, guess where?
Oh my gosh.
Guess what county? No. Oh. Close. But you know what it is?
Where?
Gloucester.
I don't know why you thought I would guess that.
Oh, okay. I don't know why. You're right. I don't know why.
I have no connection whatsoever
really right. to Gloucester?
Yeah.
Do we know?
Is it
yes, we do.
Gloucester, or I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah,
I think it depends on the person. Yeah. Anyway, so Gloucester.
Yeah.
Anyway, they were created. Okay, is a title. Blah blah blah. The Marling baronetcy is a title in the baronetage of the United Kingdom, and it was created on the 22nd of May, 1882.
Wow.
For the cloth manufacturer and liberal politician Samuel Marling.
Okay.
The second baronet served as High Sheriff of Gloucester in 1888. The third baronet was a colonel in the army and was awarded the Victoria Cross. Folk musician Laura Marling is the third and youngest daughter of the fifth baronet. So basically, this is just the UK's way of saying that they are hacienderos. Because I guess that's what it is, right? Because they own that whole area.
I would have liked to have like a subplot where, like, they were telling her, Laura, you are next in line to the Claw Empire. And she's like, no, father, I shall play music.
I dream of being a musician. You don't understand. And he's like, yeah, and then he's like, I should have never let you listen to those tapes.
I never should have bought that recording studio which I ran.
Yeah. I should have never made a business. Who will be my next baron? No, that's true though. If he's the fifth baron and she has no brothers.
Right.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Well.
So anyway, this recording studio.
I guess the hacienda ends here. Yeah.
So
anyway,
they're all in the recording studio now. That's their banana stand.
Yeah, that's actually it. That's their banana stand. Their frozen banana stand. Yeah. So she mostly learned guitar from her dad, and then growing up, I guess, moving forward, a lot of her friends. As we mentioned earlier, she has been friends with the likes of Mumford and Sons and Johnny Flynn for a very long time, and she's done tours with them as well. I think they all debuted They all kind of started on the scene at around the same time as well. So so the selection we are talking about today is from her fourth album, Once I Was an Eagle, which came out in 2013, and she had recorded and released this album during the period that she was briefly living in America. She was living in Los Angeles. And this is her fourth album, and it was her third album to be nominated for the Mercury Prize, which is a very prestigious music award in the UK. And she's very fortunate because almost all of her albums, I think, have been nominated for the Mercury Prize.
She's good. I was wondering, when you were saying that her dad was kind of the one who like gave her that introduction to folk music, like that sort of tracks, because I was like reading how during the period that she was like figuring out this album, I read somewhere that she was only like really listening to music coming from the late 60s and the early 70s. While writing this album. And then
that makes a lot of sense.
There was this quote where she was saying that it was an era, that era of like 1969 to 1972 roughly, was an era when guitar, quote unquote, was becoming a kind of masculine extension. Which that's an interesting, so I wonder, like, that's an interesting like mindset to have as you're approaching like the writing of something.
Yeah.
And like Laura herself is not much older than me, so she too is not a boomer.
Yes.
She's like only 2 years older than me. And like, presumably her dad is the one who came out of that era that she's referring to.
And I think if you think about who were very prominent in that era, it was all like Bob Dylan and James. Oh my god, I went to James Corden.
I was gonna say Corden.
Freaking. What? Freaking. Who? Winter, spring, summer, fall. Who's this?
Oh, James Taylor.
James Taylor, thank you. James Taylor,
and
also Joni Mitchell. So Joni Mitchell too, who is somebody who, I mean, it's very common in folk music to play around with tunings. Parang Laura would still be closer, I guess, to what's in a Joni.
Yeah.
To like what Joni Mitchell was doing.
That's right. Yeah, and even I guess like in the kind of there is like across all of these tracks there is kind of like an underlying, I guess, darkness that like runs through it. I wonder if that's like also her now like also hearkening to that sensibility that guitar is a masculine extension. Although I thinking about it now, I know that but Joni also had in some of her songs like also a kind of darkness that was brewing about.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of it had to do, Siguro, with maybe the tunings that she decided to use, because I don't know if you know this, but like one of the reasons why she learned how to do alternative tuning is because si Joni Mitchell because she had polio as a child. Oh. And then when she had recovered, her strumming hand was, or like I think both her hands were really weak, like they're deformed at this point. And so if you look at them, they look really frail. Okay. But she still really wanted to play music, and so she had taught herself alternative tuning so that she wouldn't have a hard time doing chords. Okay. And usually, because when you do alternative tunings, a lot of them are it is for darkness. Like it's very rare that you do an alternative tuning for a happy song, because a lot of them do end up going quite low. I think, yeah. So the Suite, what is now known collectively as the Suite, is a collection of 4 songs, or rather a medley of 4 songs that Laura plays live in one go in a straight 13 to 18 segment of her set. And it is the songs Take the Night Off, I Was an Eagle, the titular track of the album, You Know, and Breathe. And put together, they are now known as
Take the Night
Suite.
Off, I Was an Eagle.
Yeah, you know? Breathe. Like, that's the whole thing. Take the night off, I was an eagle, you know? Yeah. Breathe. Like, that's...
It does sound like a Mulaney bit when you say it that way. Like,
yeah, exactly. That's what
I was an eagle. You know?
You know?
Breathe.
Like a liar. I should write like an extension of the 5th, and it would be called Like a Liar. Yeah. Anyway, so she had said, so if you were to listen to these songs in succession, the album does a thing where they all connect. So there's no like end to a certain song. Like they all flow as one, because Laura, and I really like when albums do that. But because Laura has said that it was really supposed to be just one song, but then I think at the time that she was recording it, she couldn't figure out yet how that would work. Yeah. And so she just decided to segment them into 4 different songs and then record them separately, and then just have them connect melodically through the writing and then eventually through production. But now she tends to start, if you watch her live, I believe this is always the first that she does now.
I wonder if would you know if there are any like demos of early versions of the Suite?
Oh, I would kill to find that. I've never seen any. Yeah. I've never even seen like BTS of like her recording this album or this song. Ooh, but okay. If you guys know of any, if any of like, you Laura fans are listening,
I always find it like exciting. Like when I started finding demo versions of songs by Hop Along, a band we will never cover on this podcast. But like I would find like bits where they had the song was in a different structural arrangement.
Yeah,
they would have like a certain portion of the song like later, and I'd be like really jarred. I'm like, that's supposed to be the start of the song. You know? Like,
yeah.
I wonder if like
I love that
song as long as this, like this, that she had intended to be originally one song. I wonder like what were the drafts coming in.
Yeah, no, that's song. A good point. Yeah, I think have you ever heard speaking of demos, if you guys have, this is super sidetrack, but like kind of related to Laura, I guess, because it's from the era that she referenced earlier. If you have ever listened to the demo of Dreams by Fleetwood Mac, if you have never listened to that, I 100% think you should. There's somebody on YouTube has a really great video essay about the difference between the demo and how they eventually recorded it. Wala lang. So, it's one of those things too where it wasn't super structurally different from how we know it now, but listening, the fact that it was still a demo still kind of blows my mind, like it's like, oh, this is the beginning of like one of the greatest songs of all time. Yeah. So I feel like if any of you are out there and you know where to find a demo of this or something, please let us know. So the song, if you've never heard it yet, this song does have like a main not vocal melody, but a main guitar run, right? Like Laura calls it a run up. So in her tutorials, that's what she calls it. She calls it a run up. So at the end of some verses and in between songs as well, she does this thing where it's like dun 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 dun, so that's the main and that's why I was saying it was easy, kind of fast to learn if you already play guitar, because that's basically the whole song. And with just some differences in between per song, but then like honestly the big chunk of the song is that section, and the hardest. I would have to say that's the hardest part of the song. And so structurally, it kind like musically, it flows kind of smoothly in that way, and I think that's also one of the reasons why I picked it to talk about, because you think it's such a simple song. I think because it's kind of you can tell that it's really like one song. I mean, like when you hear it, it's like this is just one really long song that just does a few different things. But then when you listen to the lyrics, you're kind of just like, oh, so many different things are happening now. And the only thing that I think would be different is actually in Breathe. I'm just talking about music now, but like in Breathe, it's that run up backwards. Mm-hmm. So which I thought was really, it's really cool. And like she also sings it. The vocal melody is also that same run up backwards, which I thought was really interesting.
The review, like the run up is like dun 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 dun, and then by Breathe it's like
it's like it's dun 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 dun, like sorry, that was too low, but like that, and that's also really interesting when I realized that, because like when you get to that part in her tutorial, you've like struggled with learning how to do the run up, and then you realize you have to learn how to do it backwards now, and you're kind of just like, oh, okay, you're crazy, but I'll do it.
And it's the sort of the thing that I kind of latched on while I was like listening to and like trying to decipher what the song was quote unquote about.
Right. So I actually have not really been a fan of hers for long. I always knew about her because I did like Mumford and Sons. I do like Mumford. I don't know why I said did. I do really love Mumford and Sons. I listened to them a lot in college, especially towards the end of college. But I had sort of fallen out of listening to folk music because and this is where it gets personal. Because my ex-boyfriend, I had an ex-boyfriend who was a folk singer, and like he and I had known each other for a really long time, and like I always knew that he liked folk music, and we always kind of liked the same stuff, but it wasn't until that we were dating that I really like went into listening to more folk music and acoustic stuff, and learning about like guitar more than I did before, because before when I was learning how to play guitar, like I learned how to play guitar, it was just so I could like have something to do, I guess, and not for the sake of like music or whatever, or it was just something I wanted to be able to do. And so but when he and I broke up towards the end of our relationship, because he also started switching his own did I say he was a musician?
Yes,
I did, right? Yeah. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So he kind of started to switch his genre a bit more, and now he does not play folk music at all. And he plays like dance music now. I don't know. This is probably like his midlife crisis. Who knows? But he when that kind of happened and our breakup was bad, I kind of stopped listening to like acoustic music altogether and folk music. And around that same time too, I had started my own band as well, and our music was very different. And I kind of just like fell out of listening to folk music because it even if I learned so much of it that's very happy and like really upbeat, a lot of it did, just remind me of a time that I was not ready to relive yet.
Yeah. I mean, like that's also like quite a tricky thing now. Like, if it's something that you feel like you've started to enjoy or found that you discover you enjoy during like a certain phase of your life, and then you start to re-envision that phase of your life as something that wasn't that great for you. Like, it kind of also almost taints.
It
taints the experience somewhat.
The whole thing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very truly. And like, it made me I don't know. I think also that's kind of one of the reasons why I don't, even me myself, I don't typically do acoustic music, which is ironic because of what I'm going to make cuento. But I think it was also just because I just needed to be so far away from that area of my life. Right. And it didn't help also that like because my ex-boyfriend has 2 bands, and like his second band is still kind of a folk pop-ish band, and they're really good. I still really respect and admire them, but even then I can't listen to them because like I just feel really sad. I just feel bad. Around sometime last year, I can't remember how or why, but Laura's first single off her latest album, Song for Our Daughter, her single was called Fortune, and it came up on my feed, and the thumbnail was so pretty that I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to this. Like, I had known who Laura was, and I knew like because I knew it was folk music, and I was like, okay, I don't know how nice I'm gonna find this, or like how much this is gonna affect me, but like it was great. It was like this super pretty video of her just sitting playing guitar by herself in a suit in like an outdoor area, and it was really nice, and the song was beautiful, and I was like, oh, this is really nice. I wonder what else she's done, but I didn't really actively look into it until I got. So basically, I'm saying this episode is here because of YouTube's algorithm. Because after I had watched Fortune, I think I got recommended her performance at BBC Proms, which to any not UK person, I guess, BBC Proms is like this yearly, like really big showcase concert that happens in London, and usually it's like a segmented concert with like multiple genres. So sometimes people from the West End do segments from their shows, and then opera singers come, and then you have some famous pop singers, and occasionally cinema.
They ask each other to that if it's like nationwide. Like,
that's a good.
Like if it's just a school prom. If it's just a school prom, you just have to ask the people, I guess, in your school or in your locality. But if it's like
changed my mind, this is not a good question.
A prom like that is nationalized and it's like state funded how did they even ask?
Well, sila, right? I mean, like, come on, ever think about that? Okay, maybe that's what we should have, a state funded prom.
State funded prom. Might not be for everyone though, but
No, absolutely. Just maybe
what the budget is going into now.
maybe I draw the line at like what's the bit? I can forgive no COVID response, but I draw the line at having no state funded proms. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's called, just in case anyone didn't get the bit, he's joking, but like BBC proms, I'm pretty sure proms.
Sorry.
He's literally lived there, guys. He knows what it is. No, but I'm pretty sure proms, isn't it short for promenade?
Yeah, which isn't that like the
Right?
root word also for like...
Also with prom? Oh, really?
Yeah, because like you...
I don't know. Girl, who knows?
The
I don't know.
promenade? I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know
makes
the
sense.
etymology of dancing.
Yeah, me too. I don't know the etymology of Western traditions.
Not like my prom, so it's not
yeah,
like I wanted to
me
go
too.
and
Well, that's not true.
pathologically
Yeah,
study my prom, but anyway.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We didn't love prom that much.
No.
Anyway, so I saw her performance at BBC Proms, and it was like a stripped down set. So it was literally just her and an orchestra,
Right?
or like a string orchestra
yeah.
specifically.
Yeah.
And it was really good. And Sweet was on there, and that was the first time I had ever heard Sweet. And I kind of was like, "Oh shit, that's really cool." And I had asked my current boyfriend now, who is actually like, he's also a musician, and he like teaches me sometimes because I didn't really traditionally study music theory and stuff like that. And despite having been like in a music program in high school, I did not like pay attention that much to that. But I had asked him about the song, and I was like, is this really difficult to play? And he was like, it is, because that's not standard tuning. And I was like, oh, okay. And for those of you who, I kind of told the story in our year-end episode, but for those of you who don't play guitar, there are different tunings that you can do on a guitar. And when you say standard, that's just the usual... oh my god, I'm literally looking at my guitar. E, A, D, G, B, E. Yeah. That's standard tuning. But then,
or
if
as I like to call it, Iad Gba. It's true though.
And hold for dramatic pause. Thank you. He's not wrong. That's what it is. Yeah. So standard tuning is in those, when the strings are each tuned to those notes. But Sweet specifically is 4 songs tuned to dad. So that means it's D, A. Yeah, it's how you spell. So the 6th string is D, 5th is A, 4th is D, etc. And I had never really played another tuning on a guitar before other than drop D, which is literally standard tuning, but instead of the 6th string being E, it's D, and then everything else is the same. I've never done anything past that. Like, I've never had to tune my guitar to be like wholly different.
Yeah.
And I was really scared.
That's like quite difficult.
Go ahead.
Because I like, even myself, like trying to imagine what it must be like to like, I mean, on one hand, you have like playing songs on different tunings, in which case, like, you have to like set up the tuning. But then there's also like the idea, I think, of like writing a song on a different tuning, which is like really mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, same. Like, parang when I would watch her, and I'll mention this more later, but when I would watch her quarantine tutorials, kasi she would like explain some context of some of them, or like be all like, I wrote this one here and I use this specific guitar for it because the tuning is like this. That's really insane to me because I'm kind of just like, I can barely write music myself. So I mean, I know I just said I have a band, but I don't write the music. I literally I can barely think in like standard tuning, what more in, you know, another. And it's difficult because the chord shapes are different as well. So if you guys are familiar with guitar playing or like music in general, you know, you have chords and stuff, and let's say on the piano the chord shapes are like relatively the same all throughout the whole thing because you don't have to change tuning. But on, or I don't know, maybe, I wonder if anyone's ever done that. But on the guitar, when you change tuning, your chord shapes generally change as well, because everything's moved around, you know. So, and I don't know what it was about this song, but it just made me, I literally forced myself to learn it by myself. Like, usually my boyfriend would tab songs for me because he can learn songs by ear, and he would tab them for me, and then I would just learn it through the tabs or through the chords. But for this one, for some reason, I ask him to, and I had found on Instagram that she had been doing a set of quarantine tutorials. So like every week she would post a video of her teaching everybody her music, and I had found her segment on Sweet, and then I just learned from there. I literally was just like, fuck it to the wind, and I tuned my guitar to Dad Dad, which was really scary because that's very, like, if you know, if like there are certain tunings kasi that are very like, that could like not really mess up, but like could change your guitar.
Right.
And so and even she says so that in the original, she plays it live. Sorry, I should have mentioned this. But she plays it live in Dad Dad.
Yeah.
But on the record, I think she recorded it as what might be drop C.
Okay.
Which is another, I think that's what it's called. I know that it starts and with C kasi. But yeah, which is a more precarious tuning. Like, she even said so herself na the reason why she doesn't play it in drop C is because it's bad for the guitar. Because she was like, if you were to leave your guitar in that tuning, it would like fall apart. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah. I have a fun fact about the song now that we're going into the whole thing. But like, sorry, the one, oh no, but I think I told you this. Sorry, okay. It just made me remember. But like, so this is in Dad Dad, and I only have one working guitar right now, so I don't often, except for the time where I was learning the song, I tend not to leave my guitar in Dad Dad because that's kind of deluxe, and it would be better if I had two guitars, obviously, because I could just leave one in Dad Dad and one in standard. But because I don't put my guitar in Dad Dad all the time, but when I do, I leave it for quite a while. And so one time I was trying to figure out other songs that I could play on Dad Dad so that I could learn more things, and also so that I could practice while leaving my guitar in relatively good shape. And I found out that Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls is in Dad Dad.
Are you serious?
So,
okay.
Yeah, it's originally in Dad Dad.
I wonder if it's
obviously
like a crossover.
I have attempted it. If I have, because they're I'm gonna try it again because I kind of tried it once and I was like, I hate this. But they only have one chord in common, and so I don't know. I'll review it, then I'll let you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, no. So I like forced myself to learn the song on the guitar, even though I had never done it before, and I think I learned it in like 2 weeks.
Whoa.
And yeah, which I didn't realize also until my boyfriend had said so. But yeah, it was really fun, and I really. So this song, so Sweet as a whole, is really special to me in that sense.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about it here and I think it's beautiful. If you guys have never, and obviously the overarching lesson of this episode will be to listen to the song because it's great and it's really beautiful.
We're not gonna. Yeah, like I think we should say like we're not gonna like do any clips of the song, just to like straddle that copyright line, but like, but like,
all right.
I mean, like, yeah, like it's easy to find like the Sweet mismo on Spotify. There's like one track where it collects all four, and it's her doing it live in Brooklyn, right?
Yes, and the Spotify session, which is my favorite one.
Yeah,
my second favorite.
And
one,
then there's also like you can also listen to the studio version itself, which is just the first 4 songs.
Different.
It's just the first 4 songs of that album.
Album.
Like having just listened to it this past week, like I was like thinking a lot about like the fact that you have 4 different songs. There is like a consistency among all of them. There's like a backing guitar that is like consistent among all of the 4 tracks. But then like to mentally like trace out like now we're gonna segue into this, and like altogether it comes out like I've seen like different versions where it's like 13 to 18 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? So like how did you did you do it like sequentially, or did you like?
Yeah, I did. I followed her whole tutorial. So her tutorial is I think it's around 6 or 10 minutes of her just teaching the whole thing. And you're right, because the whole thing is thematically the same.
Yeah.
or like there's a single chord progression that runs through the whole thing, and then it's only per song that some of it changes, but most of the shapes kasi are the same. Okay. You could learn the whole thing in 6 minutes and just remember how long to do the whole thing. Yeah. And so it was just practicing it because they were shapes. They were shapes that I never really learned before because they were so different, and a lot of it was open, and I'd never really played a lot of open, strings before. And also the strumming pattern is really difficult.
Yeah.
Because for the strumming pattern for this, she doesn't use a pick either. So my strumming, my thumb on my strumming hand, which is my right hand, is actually super. Me and Rocky have a joke that my left hand is super batak now because of it. It is, if you look at it, like, guys, if you play guitar, like, you would know this, but like my left hand is literally more toned than my right hand. And on my right hand, my thumb is now the most toned finger I have. I'm not even kidding. Mio, I'm gonna show you later because like my fingers are like my fingers on my left are longer than my fingers on my right. And Rocky's the same. So like I'm kind of just like
I've always wanted like a superhero who that was their particular like characterization, is that one side it's like Two-Face.
One side is more toned.
And like that's their weakness, is they can only like punch with one hand, but they need the other hand to like hold the bad
that's
guy.
An anime.
And then like punch that person. No, I get that. I know that character, but then the specific hindrance to the character is that one side is so much like disproportionately larger that it affects their perception. Like, oh, there's a guy there. Like, I didn't see him.
You're right. It is much like Two-Face. In that sense. But I was just saying because the strumming. Because the strumming of this song is so difficult and it requires your thumb only, because the sound changes if you were to use a pick kasi. My thumb has gotten really, like, it's quite I have like a really thick callo on my thumb. And it was really, but it was like a good practice because it helped with my ear a lot, and it helped with me learning more about like music and stuff, and it kind of made me rediscover the genre as a whole too, because that whole album was really good. I listened to the rest of that album. I listened to the rest of Song for Our Daughter as well, and I was so happy when it turned out she was nominated for a Grammy, but she lost to her friend Johnny Flynn, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
So I think so, or was it that for Mercury? Anyway, so either way, it was good. And I think now, I think I would have never appreciated the song in the same way if I was still with that same person before, and if he was also still doing this kind of music. Because I think a lot of who I was at the time was somebody that was like scared of her own like capabilities, I think. And I'm still like that now, obviously, but like I think even if I was a pretty decent guitar player before, I think I would have never even thought to learn the song, because I would have been like, that's idiotic. Why would I do that? Like, I can't do that. But now I can play like 4 of her songs. So, I guess for my own thing, like one of the reasons why I wanted to do this was to talk, I guess, about how like, you can totally recontextualize a thing that you used to be attached to, and then had memories with it, and then after a certain amount of time or moving forward, you can kind of claim it as your own.
Yeah.
And I guess even without me thinking that this song was about inner things in particular, it's still very clearly about a relationship that was strained, and that like haunts her in some kind of way, but towards the end it's like, okay, eto na, this is it.
Yeah. I mean, like to your point, like really, I think like from what you were saying, like the thing that really drew you to the song was not so much the content of what the song was about per se, but like the idea that you could embark on it as a story that you could tell yourself that you could like reclaim for yourself outside of that relationship that you had. As our good old friend Joan Didion would say, we tell ourselves stories in order to live.
Exactly. You know? She did say that. She was a really good friend.
She was. Friend of the pod. She might appear on the pod sometime.
Oh, jeez.
Not that she will, but guys, summer, very exciting. 2 words for you. X-Men. Anyway.
For a split second, I forgot. I was like, when? Then I remembered. I know when.
You were
I was the one.
Yeah. But, thanks. So it's something that came, I think, really more from like your sense of practice and like wanting to like claim this for yourself more than it was
absolutely
like, seeing what the song was really about or connecting to what the song was really about.
It was like therapy, and at the end of it, I also learned how to do better music.
Exactly.
Like it was like a bonus thing in itself, and I really appreciated that, and I really it's kind love of like the song, and I hope you guys love it too.
It's kind of like the equivalent of like somebody who like works on something, I guess, like not. I mean, like the word. It's not the best word to use, but dispassionately, where like it's not that they necessarily are attached to the thing that they're writing about, but the process of writing it or the process of working on it helps them to address something that is deeper, even if it's not necessarily directly related to the thing that they're writing about.
Right. Yeah. I agree. So thanks for letting me do this one, bud.
Yeah, hey, I like it.
And thanks to everybody listening.
Yeah, you wanna do?
Did you really like the song?
I really did. Did
you like this? And you also liked it better than the recording, right?
No, that's the thing, because that's what I was curious to find out from you, because like when I was listening to the studio version,
Go ahead.
The distinctiveness of like, I mean, like I'm citing mainly my favorite part, which is that transition between once I was an eagle and and like the melody there that I noticed is a lot clearer there. Whereas,
okay.
like, in the live, it's a little harder to like make it out because you've got so many things that are also going on. Especially like I saw a version where it was just her, and then I saw the version that you sent, which was her with the string orchestra.
With the string, yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is like we gotta see if I can catch that melody that I like.
Yeah. I agree though that I didn't actually like in that whole set of BBC Proms. I actually didn't like the arrangement of that so much.
Oh, okay.
Because I think it overwhelmed the guitar too much. I don't know if it had to do with the mixing of the live. Yeah, I think the strings were a bit too loud, and I got kind of nasayangan na you couldn't hear her guitar playing.
Yeah.
But for me, I think it's the opposite. Na parang I like how everything sounds a bit more cohesive.
Yeah.
When she does it live, especially since she tends to do sets kind of by herself now.
Yeah.
And I like how she takes that, like you mentioned, that she changes lyrics, and I didn't even notice, but like now thinking about it, I'm like, oh, okay. I think that when she makes those choices, that like makes the song like new every time.
Right.
And,
absolutely. Like
that's
changing
her mind. Yes, those little
it's very much
little
the thing
things
of like how performance is really like a rewriting in every instance. Like performance is like writing the work a second time over and over again.
Yes,
it's that second time that you end up doing like over and over a million times.
I agree. And with that, shall we segue into our course listing?
Right, course listing. Do you want to go first or should I go first?
Okay, I should go first because mine is boring.
No.
But like I think that this could be in 2 different kinds of classes depending on what you're going to study.
Yeah.
So I think this would be a really interesting song to dissect in a music theory class.
Okay.
Especially since it's not a standard tuning song, it's not a folk song, but it's not classical music either. I mean, it's a folk song, but it's not a song that you would traditionally kind of study in music classes, I think, because you tend to, do a lot of like classical music, and sometimes they go into pop, but then I think it's very rare that you study something that's in between.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think because the musicality of it is so beautiful, and learning it was really fun, and I think I would like if other people learned it too. And if you guys knew music theory better than me and you want to talk about it and teach me some stuff about it, you totally can. But I also think that it would be interesting in a lit class and to be able to dissect the lyrics a bit more in an academic way. I think that would be fun to try and like really see what she was trying to say, and what kind of imagery that she was really kind of trying to give to people, I guess.
Right.
Because yeah, even if you were to just read the lyrics and like think of them as like word, like text, more than anything, I think there's a lot to unpack, more so than we've already established.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, mine is related to the last part that you were saying, because I was like really transfixed as I was saying about this idea of the you persona between each song in the suite. And so I figured this would be good. This would be a good thing to study or present in a seminar. And the title of that seminar, and I've abbreviated it because it's a bit. The title of the seminar would be called, I Bet You Think This Song is About You, Identifying the You Persona in Lyrics.
That's what this stands for? Because we have notes in front of us, and I was reading it. I was like, okay, so the seminar is called Ibiticiae. And I was like, all right, I wonder what that's gonna stand for.
Yeah, I bet you think the song is about you.
You. That's a good one, though.
Thank you.
Because then you could like do, maybe part of it could be like, all right, let's do something obvious.
Yeah, no, it's like,
you're so vain. Yeah. And then, but what about this one?
Yeah.
And like just like 360.
Yeah, or like here, like literally,
180.
like we don't have to do like a close reading of the whole thing, but like I think it's like interesting to note how the suite starts with, you should be gone, beast, be gone from me, be gone from my mind at least, let a little lady be. I don't want you to want me, wouldn't want you to know. I don't care where you've gone, beast, I care where you go.
Hells yeah.
Like I'm interested to hear what you think about who the you might be referring to. Like, who do you think? Like, yeah, I mean, obviously there's like a beast reference, but like,
yeah.
But I wonder.
But like, I don't think it's an animal.
Yeah. Although there are references to animals throughout. There are
references to many animals.
Birds,
in this whole suite.
particularly.
And birds. Yeah, as she said, she once was an eagle.
Yeah. Like if you go and follow the song, like she's saying, take the night off and be bad for me, take it right off and be bad for me. There's like a reference to the beast being like a bird.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I find interesting. I guess, but like I think, I don't know. For me, it just seemed like a person, and I think the person that I imagine in this section of the song is the same person I imagine in one of her other songs called oh my god, it's another song I learned, but it's from oh my god, I'm gonna look it up now. But I imagine it to be a person that she, I guess, like is like a former lover, or a lover or something, and she's kind of trying to reckon with something, with I guess a turn of events in their relationship, and basically saying that, I don't think that she's trying to say that, because it doesn't sound happy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it just sounds like it sounds very defeated to me.
Yeah.
And
like there's this kind of like relentless nature that the beast has that makes her want it to leave.
Yes.
And that's why I was like thinking,
sorry, held down. This I was referring to earlier was held down. I feel like the person she's the you in held down is also the same as could be the same as the you from Take the Night Off, because as the kids these days,
but like
it's the song that I played for you in Jam one time.
Ah.
Yeah, anyway. I I was gonna say, like, as the youth say nowadays, that song and this song have quite the same energy, even though Held Down sounds a bit happier because it's in the tuning of that is D major 7, but it's not happy at all. It's really sad, and it's the same kind of thing where it's like she I guess she wants somebody the you in this to leave.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead. I was like really thinking about that, like, because I wondered if on one hand there was the question about whether the you could be like it's interesting because if it is like another person, then you already have like a very complex hints to the history of the relationship, which are quite heavy from the first verse going on. It's like, I used to be in love with that guy, but now he won't leave me. Like, wait, so
exactly.
you broke up? Yeah, we did. But then, like, now he's, he's still here. like, whoa.
But he's, like, kind of here, and I'm just dealing with it. And you're like, oh.
But I was wondering, because, like, there is that specific line that she has in that first verse where she says, "Be gone from my mind, at least." And I was really like transfixed on that, because to me that really indicated that whether or not there's another person there is like some kind of transfixing going on in her mind that's bothering her. And so I wondered if like the beast was something of a mental projection or a mental affliction, kind of like she's going through her own demons, as it were.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And like I mean, like that, like when I was like thinking about it, it's like, oh, okay, maybe somebody who's like going through like a dark night of the soul, and then you know how like when you're caught in that trap of like thinking too much and you don't like the place where your brain is going. Yeah. And like all you want is to like not think about it, but like how do you get your brain to stop, right?
Yeah. Correct. And that's pretty good.
And I thought, like, I mean, like I think that's very much tied also probably to the other person, who I think is like very prevalent throughout all the 4 parts of the suite. Here, I think in terms of like what she's trying to reckon with, it might be this person, whether it's a he or she, like this person as they appear in the singer's head, in the singer's mind. That's why like she says like, "I don't care where you've gone, beast, I care where you go." And like in terms of like figuring out like, oh, how could that like be a stand-in for guilt? Like if you care less for the content of what you're guilty about and you care more about the feeling, like I don't care
the implications.
I don't care about the thing that I'm guilty of. What I care about is the badness of the feeling that I want to leave right now.
Yeah, right.
You know, the question of like, wait, is the you something that is really referencing an outside persona, or is it a projection in her head, therefore herself? So really the you is an I? Like, for me, I was like, whoa! Yeah.
That's a good one, though. I would go to that seminar.
Yeah. Just,
I would 100%
good examples.
go to that seminar.
I'm thinking about other examples of songs that could be presented at the seminar. Soulja Boy famously has a U in it. I'm thinking of,
you know what? For some reason, what I just thought of is what you say?
What did you say?
That's a good one, right? Who said like, what? And who said this? And what did they say?
What did they
who?
Say?
Yeah, exactly. What did they say that made Andy Samberg get so inspired to shoot other people multiple times
what did
for
they
a
say
sketch?
That killed other people a lot of times.
Exactly.
You gotta know.
Exactly.
So, you. Okay, you want to do Sports Corner?
Rec. Room.
Okay, so Sports Corner. I was thinking this week we could do something a little different. As we are wont to do. It is the weekend. We'll try something new. Which I finally said, you know.
I was going to say, this is the first time you were... Okay.
Yeah, it's... the thing that we're gonna try this time is, instead of me telling you what I've learned and asking you a question about sports, I've decided to turn the tables for this particular edition of Sports Corner, and I'd like you to ask me one question about sports.
Okay.
What have you got
and
for me, Amanda?
He said that I can ask anything. Absolutely anything. Anything, guys. And so my question is, do you think that
I got this.
Okay.
And remember, the premise of this. Remember, the premise of this whole segment is that I've never watched sports. Like, as a child, yes, but that doesn't count because I don't remember anything.
So, exactly, and he never really watched a lot of sports media as well.
Can ask me literally any sports question pertaining to any sport, and I have to answer. Okay, so what have you got?
At the 2016 Barcelona Ice Skating Grand Prix.
Oh no.
Katsuki Yuri won silver. Do you think he should have won gold?
Okay, wait, sorry. Could you say that a bit again? Because it got garbled the first time you said it. So repeat the question. It's do I think that Katsuki? Do you think that Katsuki Yuri should have won gold instead of silver? Katsuki Yuri. Mm-hmm. At the 2016 Barcelona Grand Prix. Okay.
Are you Googling this?
No, he won. So he won silver. He or she, sorry.
He won. He won silver. Yes, he did.
Pronouns, so
he did. He is very. Yeah, he did win silver, and if I remember correctly, the person who won gold was let me just, because I cannot remember his last name.
Right, but
Yuri Piletsky is who won the first.
So Yuri Piletsky that year, if I remember correctly, won gold, and the winner of the silver that year, remind me again.
Katsuki Yuri,
that's right. Okay.
That's right. You got it.
I completely remember this. Now, it's so interesting that you asked me this question, because let me tell you, I remember the time when Katsuki Yuri did his performance, and it was stunning. It was so stunning.
Yeah. It really was.
Let me do a recap. So first, what he did, he started the performance off with a triple flipper, and a lot of people mistake that as flipping 3 times in a row, but no, it's actually using 3 of your limbs to pretend that you are Flipper, the dolphin from the film Flipper. So he began with a triple flipper, which was considered controversial at the time. Because normally, as we all know, as it's tradition in the Barcelona Grand Prix, people, the skaters, prefer to begin with a traditional flipping move. So for them, this was unorthodox. They were flipping the flip on its head. That's what Katsuki Yuri was doing that year, and I feel like that actually did not go down well with the judges. The judges saw that, and they were like, "No, we will not have this desecration of our tradition stand." He may have put up a good rest of his performance, but the fact that he insulted our most coveted ways is not something we will stand for. So instead of awarding Katsuki Yuri the gold, we will award him the silver. Now, my opinion is, I think it was very brave for Katsuki to do this. It's actually akin to what Stravinsky did when playing the Rite of Spring for the first time, he played the Rite of Spring for the first time, and people were like yelling at him in the theater, like, "This is bullshit." They knew how to say that in the whatever century.
Yeah, in Russian. Yeah, they really were like, I just snorted. Right? They were like, you need to
calm down, sir.
Yeah, right? So, this is too much.
But I think that's what Katsuki was like going for. He was going for something controversial, but wait 50 years, 2066. Barcelona Grand Prix, people will be like, in memoriam Katsuki, he actually changed the game for all of us. So I actually think it was really brave of him to. I think it's bold of him.
Even that far, you mean?
Yeah. To open with that move. Did he deserve the silver for that or the gold? Hard to say. I don't know that much about ice skating, but I would say it was a very bold thing for him to do. Mm-hmm. That's my
good answer.
That is my answer.
That's your answer. Okay.
How
about a follow-up question?
Okay, go ahead.
How do we? Do you think he should keep his coach?
Oh, his coach. Well, okay. As we all know, his coach that year was the uncle of his rival Yuri Poletsky. His coach was Coach Poletsky Yuri. So I feel like the decision to open the competition with the triple flipper was also something you could imply was nepotistically motivated or familially motivated, but ultimately the decision was Katsuki's. So really, like, it was Katsuki's call all the way. Whether the coach had anything to say about it or not is not really up to Mr. Yuri Poletsky.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mr. Poletsky Yuri. Mr. Poletsky Yuri is not up to him. It's not up to the coach. Yeah.
That was good. Okay.
That's Sports Corner.
All right.
Sports Corner.
And that was Sports Corner. Everybody who remembers the year at the Barcelona Grand Prix.
Yeah, we should actually,
please do leave us a comment. Yeah. I do want to hear what you guys think about Neil's answer. Do you agree with him?
More. Okay, wait. I'm going to enforce now an executive decision because we've been doing it one way, which is me stating what I've learned and then me asking you a question. But 3 weeks in, I should have learned more than one thing by now. So I think it's now time for you to be the one to quiz me.
To review you?
Yeah, to review me and actually, pressure me, hold me accountable to what I've been learning in the sports world. So I think,
absolutely.
I think you should be the one now asking me questions from now on. Yeah, so stay tuned for next week. It's going to be the Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again of Sports Corner.
Rec. Room.
This being the Mamma Mia.
This is Mamma Mia 1.
The Mamma Mia 1.
Right.
It's the one that broke the mold.
It did. Much like
Mamma Mia.
That's Yuri.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Of course. How could we forget? Lest we forget. Never forget. Hashtag never forget.
Oh, man.
Okay. Well, if you like that bit, please feel free to give us a rating, reviewing, or subscribing,
and the subscribing
the Apple pages where we are on. We always love hearing from you, so do reach out to us on our social media platforms. We're on Twitter, Instagram at the Rec Room Pod, Rec spelled REQ. And we're on YouTube where we put highlights. I'm pretty sure this Sports Corner segment is going to go up now as a highlight. Again,
it should. You really should put this on.
It's really something else. I just said that with complete confidence, and I know I was right. Anything else you want to say, Amanda?
Do you want me to give you the? I mean, like when. Do you want me to show you his performance?
You can tell me after the
Or
episode.
do you want this? Okay, because I was going to say, or do you want this to be like your Pippin, like your new Pippin? Remember how you said you were never going to Google what tsundere means?
Sure.
Do you want it to be like that?
No. If you want to, you can tell me or you can show me the performance after, but it's not going to be in the episode. because we'll assume that by now everyone knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, everybody 100%
everyone
knows.
The world, all of
everyone, the
Mulan,
world
all
over.
of China knows I'm here. Here to the east of the West Philippine Sea. I'm right here, literally. Because the West Philippine Sea is right next to Palawan. And Palawan is just west
is
of
next
Cebu.
to Cebu. Yeah, you got this.
So I'm right
so
here.
That's a good line, by the way. You had a good flow when you said here to the. What did you say? Here to the east of the West Philippine Sea. That was good. That was kind of like very same energy as the American Dragon theme song.
I was gonna say same energy as the guy who told the bad guy from Milan that all of China knew that he was there.
That all of China knows. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
let's announce the next episode. So next week.
Oh, please.
Okay.
You may do the honors. It is your honor this time.
Exciting. It's another musical episode. But this time I'm the one who has chosen the content. But it is something that you and I have mutually enjoyed for throughout all the years it's been out so far, which is like, I guess at this point, like 4 years. 4
years. That's right.
Yeah, 4 years now.
Oh shit.
So it is not a song, not a musical suite of songs, but an album. And it is
indeed
one of our favorite albums of 2017, Bark Your Head Off Dog by Hop Along. So we hope you stay tuned for that. It's going to be an exciting episode. We may have people along for the ride.
We may have people hopping along.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that because that's going to be exciting. And as always, Amanda, would you like to do the honors with the closing theme song of The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody?
It's the same as the opening
Oh,
theme.
okay.
Just
you
instrumental.
And me gonna well, just, down. You and me
Here I
gonna
am.
Thanks for listening to The Rec Room. This episode was edited by me. Our artwork is by Mandy. Our theme song is 64 Sundays by Twin Musicom, which is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution License. Check out more of their music at www.twinmusicom.org. For more updates on The Rec Room, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at The Rec Room Pod. Rec spelled R-E-Q.
Yes, we have the sweet life. Most of the time, you and me and
So come on down. This is the sweet life of Laura Marling.